Sounds fake, but these creatures were actually real. I know, the title might come off a bit dramatic, but when you learn about animals with knife-sized teeth, faces straight out of a horror movie, and a casual habit of crunching bones like popcorn, well, calling it unbelievable is almost an understatement. Because prehistory wasn't just about dinosaurs. It was also the stage for creatures that look like they were designed by someone with very vivid nightmares. And absolutely no creative restraint. We're talking beasts with the face of a pig and the soul of a war tank, wolves the size of horses, carnivorous birds that looked like medieval torture weapons, and even a centipede the size of a car. Yes, really. And since you were brave enough to hit play, buckle up, because this list starts with the one and only, the infamous hell pig. If you think the worst thing a pig can do is dig up your garden, you've clearly never met Hyenodon. Also known, very fittingly, as the hell pig, this prehistoric mammal had the charm of a war tank, with teeth. Living in North America around 20 million years ago during the Oligocene and Miocene periods, the Hyenodon could grow up to 12 feet long and over 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Imagine a pig the size of a horse. Now give it a reinforced skull, a massive jaw, and teeth built to crush bones, plants, and anything foolish enough to cross its path. Despite the pig-like appearance, Hyenodon wasn't a modern pig. It was part of a now extinct group of omnivorous mammals called entelodonts, animals engineered by nature to eat pretty much everything: carrion, live prey, plants, and even their own kind. Yes, the hell pig probably wouldn't say no to a weaker buddy as a snack. To top off the nightmare, it had wide jaws and bony facial structures that gave the illusion of muscular cheeks, not for smiling, but for locking onto prey and pulverizing bones with terrifying force. Its bite strength, comparable to modern predators like hyenas or big cats. If that doesn't scream beast mode, then nature really outdid itself. Arcus. With a name that sounds more like your friendly neighborhood paleontologist, Arcus was anything but gentle. Imagine a prehistoric tank with teeth instead of armor. That's closer to the truth. Discovered in Mongolia in the 1920s from a single skull, this beast had a head over 1 meter long, packed with bone-crushing teeth that looked like they were custom-made to shred through shells, bones, or whatever was unlucky enough to be nearby. Despite the big bad wolf look, it wasn't a canine. In fact, it was more closely related to hippos and whales. Yeah, let that sink in. Estimates suggest it could reach 4 meters in length, stand nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder, and weigh close to a ton. A walking disaster, basically. With shearing front teeth and powerful molars in the back, this thing had a prehistoric toolbox built right into its jaw. And even though we've only found the skull, it's enough to know this wasn't just a predator. It was nature sketching chaos with a heavy hand. Shortfaced Bear. The name Shortfaced Bear sounds like something your grandma might call a clumsy cub. In reality, Arctodocymus was the largest terrestrial bear to ever live. During the Pleistocene, this beast stood up to 3.6 meters tall on its hind legs. That's basically a furry utility pole with claws. Its short face came from a wide, deep skull, housing powerful jaws for tearing flesh and smashing bone. Oh, and it could run, up to 50 kilometers per hour, Combine that with size and strength, and you get something that didn't just hunt. It intimidated entire ecosystems into submission. Gorgonops. Before dinosaurs ruled, the Permian era had Gorgonops, meaning face of the Gorgon. Think saber-toothed reptile-mammal hybrid with a head too big for its own body and fangs over 15 centimeters long. Among its most terrifying cousins was Inostrancevia, which could grow beyond 3.5 meters in length and was essentially the final boss of the Gorgonopsids. These early, mammal-like reptiles had reinforced skulls, wide-jawed bites, and a nightmare aesthetic that felt like nature-doodling monsters for fun. They were efficient, relentless, and not the kind of neighbor you wanted millions of years ago. Hyenodon. The name gives it away. Part hyena, part dental disaster. Hyenodon was a bone-crushing predator that roamed Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Americas from the late Eocene through the Miocene. One of the largest, Hyenodon, could reach 2.5 meters and 500 kilograms, with a skull that looked too big for its own body. Its jaws were equipped to slice, dice, and obliterate, leaving nothing behind. Though unrelated to modern carnivores, it ruled its world as the ultimate bone-munching machine. And no, it didn't hunt in packs, but one was terrifying enough. Amphysaned. What do you get when you mix a bear's body with a dog's hunting strategy? Amphysaned, aka the bear dog. Existing from the Eocene to Miocene, this predator weighed up to 600 kilograms and stretched over 2.5 meters long. It wasn't a bear or a dog, but a member of the now extinct Amphysaned family, a what-if scenario from nature's lab. With a muscular frame and crushing bite, it ruled multiple continents for millions of years. If evolution was experimenting, this one was a terrifying success. Plutora. Afraid of centipedes? Imagine one that's 2.5 meters long. Plutora crawled through the Carboniferous forests 300 million years ago and remains the largest land arthropod ever discovered. With dozens of jointed legs, armored plating, and fossilized tracks to prove it, this nightmare noodle might have been a harmless herbivore. But honestly, does it matter? If that thing scuttled across your path, you'd move continents. Scientists found one massive fossil in England in 2021, bigger than most humans. And yes, we still sleep at night. Barely. Kellin. Birds are cute, right? Well, Kellin didn't get the memo. This terror bird stood nearly 3 meters tall, weighed over 150 kilograms, and had a 71-centimeter skull with a hatchet-like beak. It lived in Patagonia around 15 million years ago. And no, it couldn't fly. It didn't need to. It could run fast. That meant prey had little chance to escape when it was on the hunt. This apex predator probably feasted on small mammals and reptiles, leaving behind a trail of shattered bones and broken dreams. If a chicken ever scares you, just be glad it's not a Kellin. So, still think dinosaurs were the scariest things in prehistory? These were the 8 extinct beasts you won't believe were real. Creatures so bizarre, brutal, and perfectly designed for their worlds that they make modern predators look like kittens. But behind every terrifying jaw and oversized claw was a purpose. These monsters weren't mistakes. They were nature's response to an unforgiving world. Every bone, every fang, every strange mutation had a role to play. And yes, even the hell pig was exactly where it needed to be. So next time you meet a cockroach and panic, remember, it could have been a 2-meter centipede. If you enjoyed this descent into the prehistoric abyss, drop a like, subscribe to Nature's Secrets, and share this with someone who thinks chickens are scary. See you in the next one. If the Arthropleura doesn't get you first.